Shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Shana Shai by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathens that look like the heathen nations, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And this video, I think I'm going to call it the woes of Esdras, because I'm going to read a lot of Second Esdras, a lot of scriptures from Second Esdras. But the first one I'm going to start with is Mark, the 13th chapter. And well, as you see, the title of this video that's on the screen and being used as a backdrop is called, which I'll probably play a few moments of it, but this is called The Crisis is Unfolding by Survival Lily. And Survival Lily is one of those preppers over in Europe, and she's just going to, break down what's happening in Europe. Everybody's freezing in Europe. It's hitting Europe first, and it's going to hit America hard too, because everybody's out for Black Friday and everybody thinks everything's okay. Meanwhile, you got all these diseases and plagues that are ramping up, amping up, and spreading around America. I do believe that they turned the 5G up. People been feeling sick and weird, lightheaded or cold-like symptoms, but you don't have a cold. A lot of people have equilibrium problems. They're dizzy, they're nauseous. And I noted, and I saw a video that mentioned that, and then it made me think, going back about 2 or 3 days ago, I saw two weird phenomena 2 days in a row, the same thing. I saw hundreds and hundreds. As a matter of fact, the first day is probably over 1,000 geese. And something I heard them making a noise I've never heard them make before, and they were flying in circles. Like you see small birds, when they just fly off sporadically in weird directions, like they're playing. But these geese were flying in circles, and then they were breaking off and, trying to fly into their V formations. They were doing things that were completely, what it seemed like, unlike their nature. I'd never seen this sort of behavior from geese, in my entire lifetime. And I'm over 50 now, and I've never seen or heard geese make this noise or fly this way. And then I find out that on and around the same time that it's been rumored that they turned the 5G up. And there's certain people amongst us who have certain things that they foolishly went and had put in their bodies. They're really gonna have a hard time. So we'll see what comes of that. But without any further ado, let's go to the book of Mark. All right. And this is chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 12. And it reads, "Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and father the son, and children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death." And you're going to see that with a lot of the Hebrew Israelites bringing out this truth. As, as they've been desperately trying to join the Israelite awakening to Islam or Muslim, and if you do that, then you successfully joined us to groups that can be linked to terror, because they have these rumors and these lies about the Hebrew Israelites, or they'll call the Black Hebrew Israelites. And Senator Bass shut all that down and embarrassed the heads of the FBI that were doing these so-called investigations. When she called them out on their so-called evidence. But they won't need that if they can link us. So this whole thing with the fruit of Islam joining with, there's this image floating around with a member, a cartoon image of a member of Islam with the lined up razor to the head, bald head member from IUIC, which is completely, not biblical. And that image is very powerful, because that's that one image they can use. All right, and then and the person who sent it to me is a brother that I grew up with, that I had a lot of love for, that we had it out over this Hebrew Muslim thing years ago. And you know, and I remember we went and met in a breakfast place, and we sat down and we had breakfast, and then, you know, he broke out his books, and I broke out mine, and I shut his doctrine down, you know. And he hasn't wanted to see. As a matter of fact, he brought backup with him, and they both got shut down. And I, you know, and we never had that conversation, you know, on that level ever again. All right. And after, and then, you know, and then I remember promising him, making a promise that I would go and sit, you know, and listen to the minister. He was like, well, you got to at least come here to minister, you know. And so, you know, I said, okay. So I agreed to, because that was my homie. You know, that's my brother. I still got love for the dude, man. He just gotta, you know, he just gone, man. You know, he can't let go of these Greekish things. You know, he rocking the purple and gold. you know, bruh, to you know, to the day he died. His Omega Psi Phi. He's a police officer. And then he's, you know, heavily deep into the Islam thing, and he's pretty high up there because he's one of them people who's close to the minister. So, and I remember him telling me that, you know, he was like, bro, we fighting the same battle, we just using different vehicles. And I'm like, no, we're not fighting the same battle, bro. All right. I mean, you do realize that, you know, the Esau Edom is the devil. You understand that part, but you're not calling on the proper name. And the Lord's not coming back for anybody that's calling on the name of Allah. He's not coming back for Moors. He's not coming back for Islam. He's coming back for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the lost sheep of the house of Israel, many of them are calling themselves Moors and calling themselves Muslims. They are. All right. And they're calling on the name of Allah. And that's that. You may think that that's not an offense, but that's a high offense to the Lord. You can't, you know, the minister, and here's the crazy thing. When I sat there in front of the minister with him, and this is going back, you know, this is probably about 14 years ago, because I was about a year into the truth when this happened. All right. And I remember there was a couple years where the minister was talking about Esau Edom, because he turned around and said we were Edom. After he said that we were the real Jews, he turned around and said we were Edom. And you know, he caught so much hell on the internet from the Hebrews. You know, a couple months later, he came out and recanted that, and, you know, said it back in the reverse. All right. But when I went and sat in front of him, and mind you, my guy sitting right next to me, he said, the minister said that we were the Jews of the Bible right there in his speech. When I went to that mosque, that famous mosque right here in Chicago, keeping my word to my boy. All right, I said I would come, so I went. I just wanted to hear what he had to say. It wasn't swaying my belief or what I believed in, what I knew to be true, which is the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Abishai in this Bible. All right, but you know, I had to share that story. All right, so because why their brother's gonna betray us? Because they're getting ready to sell us out. And a lot of them have, and these 501c3 camps have done that already. The ones that the media actually use, you know, that they put on, you know, because they get on TV. Nate has so many interviews, you know, Bishop Nate, and I've never heard him once say the name of Esau Edom. I never heard him once say the name of Yahweh Shai. All right, and the same thing with General Yohana, but yet people still go to defend them or get angry. Somebody gonna leave a dumbass comment on this talking about separation, and I'm telling you all these violations that they're making to us, to the Bible, to the Lord, and yet people still gonna try to defend them. But Mark 13 and 14. But when you shall see the abomination, hold on, I'm gonna start at 12 again. Now the brothers shall betray brothers to death, and father and son and children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. So that's also people who came up under you in the truth, your spiritual parents too. I mean, your spiritual children too, all right? Along with sometimes often your real children. Men and women that believe on Yahweh Bashim Abishai are going to be turned in by their own children, all right? And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So, you know, for all you Christians, no one's getting saved out of this. There is no rapture out of here. All right, to avoid these tribulations, everybody have to go through them. So that's a complete and total false doctrine. And so you have to endure through this and then be saved at the end. All right. But when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, all right, standing where it ought not, let he that readeth understand, let him that be in Judea flee to the mountains, and let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house, neither enter therein, to take anything out of his house, and let him that is in the field not turn back again, for to take up his garment. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that have that give suck in those days, and pray that your flight be not in the winter. So you better, and the flight for these people, with like Survival Lily is talking about in this video, is in the winter. So this thing is going to be so bad, you're going to have to flee with the shirt on your back. All right. If you don't have what they call the day pack, or the bug out bag, or the emergency, whatever they want to call it. You don't want to have if you don't have one of those already packed and ready to go when shit hits the fan, you go trying to pack bags, you're going to get caught up. That's basically what the scripture was saying. You don't have time to go back for stuff. You got to go. And that's how close and how bad things are getting. All right. Let's listen to a little bit of what Lily has to say.
I'm out here at the parking lot because I need to get some water. Yeah, it's time to fill up
some
our flasks,
water.
And I really hope that you are doing the same. Well, the crisis is unfolding here in Europe, and inflation is not stopping. So we have well over 10% inflation now. It really sucks. You can see that people are spending less money on luxury goods right now, which is completely understandable, especially if the rent and prices are rising, constantly rising, but wages are not rising. So that's the big problem. And in my honest opinion, what I'm seeing here in Europe is that the middle class is slowly vanishing. And that means that more and more people are really fighting to keep their flats, homes, and even to keep their jobs. And that's the grim reality that we are facing right now.
Even to keep their jobs. All right. I get a kick out of the way she talks. It's kind of comical to me. But what she's saying is mirroring, and I'm thinking about the Black Mirror because I'm going to show a portion of that, is mirroring what's going on here in America. And the problem with them over there in Europe is that with the energy crisis, with those pipelines that were blown by the British, or it's pointing to the British, it's looking bad for them a lot faster, because it's a lot of people over there that's in there burning the furniture already just to keep warm. All right. And so like it's a mirroring problem over here. And then I got this article that was sent to me by who sent this article to me? Oh, by the beloved brother Gabar Adama, and it's about police using robots in San Francisco. All right, and it's called and this is an RT article, and it says police robots may get license to kill in San Francisco. Oh, and they will. You often hear me talk about the movie Monsters to Men. All right, there's two things you need to see if you haven't seen them: the Black Mirror Metalhead trailer, which I'm gonna show the video, but not show the video. I don't want a copyright thing. All right, and the movie Monsters of Men. All right, now I'll probably try and pull that up as well. All right, just to show the imagery, but not, because they'll hit you with some copyrights or something. But it says police dogs may get license to kill in San Francisco. Cops will be permitted to use their unmanned vehicles against human targets if local proposal is successful. Believe me, they're gonna override all. They're gonna just go full blown. All right, they Hollywood didn't make all these movies showing you all these all these human-like robots and all these soldier robots. The movie Outside the Wire, that was a pretty intense one. That's another good one to see. They didn't make this technology for nothing. All right, and this is it says San Francisco Police Department is seeking permission to deploy lethal robots. It didn't say peaceful. Lethal robots against human suspects, according to the policy proposal sent to city officials, while the SFPD's robots are primarily designed for bomb disposal and surveillance, police say they can use as a last resort deadly force option, because I've seen these robots with 5.7 7.62 machine guns mounted on them, 5.62 AR rounds they can be fired for, and 9mm. And like in the movie Metalhead, or in the Black Mirror series Metalhead, those little robotic dogs had 9mm pistols, and if you damage them, then they would. There's a scene when one goes to the kitchen and attaches a butcher knife to its hand and made itself even more lethal, because now it kills you in a more violent and painful way than it would when it just chased you down and shot you. All right, you know, 2 shots, and then they have precise aiming, so they don't miss their targets. You know, they usually will shoot you right in the chest and right in the forehead. You know, they're like a damn assassin. One to the chest, one to the head. That's pretty much going to kill anybody. Not, you know, the chances of surviving that is little to likely. And if you did, you'd be so fucked up, you'd rather be dead anyway. You know? But, excuse my French, it says city supervisors disagree with the proposal inserting the line stating robots shall not be used as a use of force against any person. However, the documents went back to the San Francisco PD for review. The cops struck out the line and returned the text to its original version. All right. It says the documents were published on Tuesday by Mission Local, a San Francisco-based news site. Aaron Peskin, who chairs the San Francisco Board of Supervisor Rules Committee, told the site that while he inserted the line banning lethal force, he eventually approved the police department's changes, as there could be scenarios where deployment of lethal force was the only option. So this thing is coming, man. This thing is coming. So you know what? Let's matter of fact, let's go to that. Let's go to that Metalhead. Give you an idea. This was the series Metalhead, you know. And these robots, what they did, they would get close to you, and then they would shoot something up into the air that was like a Bouncing Betty mine, except it was full of RFID locators, you know, the C-hip, and it would, so it would shoot this little explosive up in the air, and then these C-hips would fly in every direction. They penetrate your skin, your clothing, and then the thing would just track you down. All right, and it and it never ran out of energy because it has solar panels bent into it. You know, and it just goes dormant and folds up at night with its metal shell protecting it. All right. But then, you know, it'll wake up and attack you. You see how it is jumping into the car through the window. You know, this was, you know, it even took over this, that's why they want these vehicles, these electric vehicles, because it hopped in the electric vehicle, plugged in, and had the vehicle chasing and attacking her. You see what I mean? So this is what they want, man. So you think you're going to be able to fight this stuff? It's going to get really, really bad out here. So let's go back to the scriptures, man. Let's go to 2Esdras, the 6th chapter. All right. And this is 2Esdras 6, and I'm going to start at 22. And it reads, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." All right? Because in the midst of all this, like Survival Lily was talking about, eventually the supply chains are just going to stop. You know, you just had a supply problem, you know, with the railroads and the what do you call those groups? The unions, you know, just last week when everything shut down and stopped. All right? It says, all right, and a trumpet shall give sound. When every man heareth it, they shall suddenly be afraid, because eventually those warning alarms are going to go off, those sirens like you heard in whatchamacallit, in the in those movies, in the Purge movies. All right, and it says, "And at that time friends shall fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand for fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." All right, so it's going to be no food, no water, no services, and people going to be kicking in each other's doors, taking from one another, and cannibalism is even going to return. All right. And the first victims of cannibalism are going to be small children. I mean, we already have an issue with things happening to small children for, for adrenochrome, and here in America and worldwide for that matter. All right. And it says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So once again, the scriptures that I've already read a couple different precepts that completely tear apart the lie of what Christians call, the rapture. No one gets saved until the end. We'll all have to go through this. We all have to go through this purge, and before the Lord, you just don't get to inherit the kingdom of heaven without going through anything. All right, that's not how it works. Okay, let's go to 2Esdras 9. And it reads, and he answered me then and said, this is 9 and 1, in 2Esdras 9 and 1. And he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou shalt see parts of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, there's riots all over the world still, different wars and skirmishes all over the world still, right now. All right. It says, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For it's like as that all is made in the world had the beginning and the end and an end, and the end is manifest. So the end is showing itself, man. And it's showing itself pretty rapidly and pretty badly. This is 2Esdras 15, and I'm going to start at verse 11. And it reads, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues, and before will destroy, and as before will destroy all the land therein. So you got Ebola, the COVID thing is starting to act back. You just got all kind of stuff, man. All right, and you got the SADS, and we all know what caused the SADS. We won't mention that though. I don't want no medical stuff, even though they keep admitting this stuff. But if you talk about it, so don't believe the hype. They say if you say anything about criticize, the COVID thing, that they won't, they'll strike you if you say something they don't like. All right, so don't say too much. But it says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten, and the plagues and the punishment of God shall bring upon it. And the ground, and they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting of the hail and with the fearful constellation. So the farming industry is damn near dead, all right, and being heavily monetized and controlled, all right. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands, all right. And it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, and a man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be troubled, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for the great tribulation. So all that great tribulation is coming here, man. And it's going to be deadly violent when we run out of food and water here in America. All right? Because believe me, we already got a portion of Americans that drink blood. You're going to have a lot more blood drinkers. All right? And flesh eaters. Okay? Because after people start eating dogs and cats, and then a lot of people not going to have, dog animals and lovers. They're going to let their dogs go, and I'm telling you, it's going to be roving packs of dogs that are going to be attacking and eating people too. All right? So it's going to be a lot of people that get eaten by animals as well. All right? It's going to get crazy out here. 2Esdras 15 and 19 and 20. Behold, saith God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south and from the east, Libanus, and to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. So everyone's going to basically turn on Babylon and on Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, because that's why they don't want their history brought out or talked about. You know, like they got a picture now of the president of one of the, I think the Cowboys from 1957. The reason they fear CRT, critical race theory, or as I would call critical race historical facts, is because when you start going into the history, you know, you start looking at images, you're gonna find pictures of their fathers and their mothers, their grandmothers and their grandfathers, their uncles and aunts. All right, to people that are in high places today. You know, their history is shaming them. All right. Why? Because the truth is coming out. Matter of fact, let's go back to 2Esdras 6 and 27. And it reads, all right, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. And as for faith it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. And this is what they're ashamed of. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Awashai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.